Technology is moving so fast it's almost dizzying. We've got AI that can learn on its own, cars that can drive themselves. We are literally building a brand new world. But with every single leap we take, we also create these huge, complicated new problems. The kind of problems our old rulebooks just can't keep up with.
So, yeah, let's dive right into the heart of it. The big question we're tackling here is right on the screen. What really happens when what we can do with our tech completely outruns our understanding of what we should do? It's in that gap, that empty space, where some of the biggest, thorniest ethical questions of our time start to pop up.
And this image? Wow. It just nails the problem, doesn't it? We are stuck in this constant four-way tug-of-war. Over here, you have what's purely technically possible, what the engineers and the code can pull off. But then you've got the law pulling in another direction, what big companies want to do for their bottom line pulling another way, and then right in the middle is us, trying to figure out what's actually the right, the ethical thing to do. And that creates this huge gray area where the path forward is anything but clear.
Okay, so enough with the abstract stuff. Let's get real. We're going to walk through a couple of actual scenarios where this ethical tension plays out in places where the stakes are incredibly high. I want you to imagine this for a second. You're the IT admin at a hospital. You've just found a massive security flaw, a gaping hole in the system that runs everything. We're talking patient records, surgical schedules, the whole shebang. Now, to fix it, you have to take the entire system offline for 12 hours, starting right now. So, what do you do?
Well, your choice basically splits along two classic ethical lines. On one hand, you could take the do the least harm approach, wait to patch it tonight, which causes the least amount of chaos for the patients who need care right now. The risk, you're leaving the hospital wide open to an attack for hours. Or you follow the rules are rules approach, which in this case means the law, GDPR, Article 32, that says you have to patch it immediately. But that could mean disrupting surgeries, delaying critical care. And here's the real kicker. The choice that seems ethical to one person, minimizing immediate disruption, is actually illegal.
All right, so let's switch gears to something you've probably thought about before: self-driving cars. I mean, these things rely on incredibly sophisticated AI to make decisions in the blink of an eye, and sometimes those decisions are literally life or death.
And that brings us to that classic kind of chilling question, right? If an accident is absolutely unavoidable, who does the car's programming save? The people inside the car? Does it swerve to hit one person to save a group of 5? A child over an adult? Think about that for a second. We are programming morality, our human values, directly into machines. And there are just no easy answers. So, how on earth do we even begin to navigate these impossible choices? I mean, you can't just hope some coder in a cubicle gets it right, or that every company will do the right thing on its own. We need a system, a framework, kind of like a moral compass for all this new tech. And that is exactly where this field called technoethics comes in. And this isn't just some high-minded ivory tower idea. It's a really practical field that pulls in experts from all over: communications, sociology, philosophy, to think about the ethical side of tech, not after it's already built, but from the very, very beginning.
This whole framework is basically built on 5 key ideas, or pillars. First up, justice. Whatever we build has to be fair for everyone. Second is non-maleficence, which is a really fancy word for a super simple concept: do no harm. Third, explicability. The tech's decisions can't be a black box. We have to be able to understand why it did what it did. Fourth is beneficence. Technology shouldn't just avoid harm, it should actively do good for people. And finally, and this one's so important, autonomy. It has to respect our freedom and our ability to choose for ourselves.
So when you take those big ideas and you point them straight at the most powerful tools we have today, AI and big data, well, things get specific fast. The concerns really boil down to these 4 key areas you see here. Identity, which is all about who we are online. Privacy, protecting our personal info. Ownership, who actually controls all this data. And reputation, how we manage our digital lives.
Look, having principles is great, but principles need to have teeth. So now let's look at how we're trying to turn these ideas into actual enforceable rules, basically writing the official rulebook for our digital world.
And the European Union has really been leading the charge on this. It kicked off in a big way with GDPR back in 2018. But just look at the year 2022 alone. Bam, bam, bam. Major new rules for digital services, for online markets, a whole legal framework for AI, and another one for cybersecurity. This isn't some slow, gradual change. This is a full-on sprint to build a rulebook for the digital age, and it's happening right now.
So what's the point of all this red tape? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The goal of all these laws is to take those ethical principles we were just talking about, like fairness and safety and transparency, and bake them right into the code. It's about engineering trust and accountability directly into the technology we rely on every single day.
But here's the thing you have to remember. This isn't a problem we just solve one time and then move on. Figuring out the rules for technology is a constant conversation, a process where we're always learning and always having to adapt.
You know, there's a quote from the research that just hits the nail on the head. It says that it takes years to really get a handle on the risks that come with new technology. You can't protect something if you don't even know what you're up against. It's like we're trying to build a fortress while the ground is constantly shifting underneath us. You have to be able to see the future, and that's the one thing that's impossible. So in the end, we're left with this one massive question. It's easy to make our technology smarter, faster, more powerful. That's the simple part. But the real challenge, the one that every single one of us has a stake in, is this. How do we make sure that as our technology gets smarter, it also becomes wise? How do we embed our deepest values into the very code that is going to build our future? Now that's something we're thinking about.